everyone, it's Shel from Paper Rock TO Studio. Today I'm sharing with you days 28, 29, and 30 of the Drawing Everyday Inktober challenge that I took upon myself to practice drawing. The prompts I'm using are from 31 Witches 2, and so they're all some sort of a witch. Today I'm doing something very different than what I've done on any of the previous days, and that is to draw on black paper. This is like a ghost print on a piece of black text weight paper when I was gel printing. Has a little bit of a pattern on it in a very light iridescent purple that's hard to see, but there it is there, and it's shimmery. It's hard to see on the video. And I decided to cut that into 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, glue it onto my page, and then draw over the top of it. So I started drawing with my graphite pencil and I could hardly see it, so I switched to this white charcoal pencil. And I don't know how you make white charcoal, because every bit of ash that I've ever seen has been gray or black, so I don't really understand it, but that's what it is. It's from General's company, and it's white. So I made my drawing, which, by the way, the prompt is angel or devil, and I decided to do kind of a demonic warrior type girl. And I drew it in the white, and it's very easy to erase that. In fact, all you really have to do is just brush it off. It doesn't stay on there at all. And then I'm going over it with white fine tip Posca pen, which is an acrylic paint pen, to draw in the lines. And that worked really well. It's completely opposite of what I normally did all month, but it was fun. Then I had found these 3 tubes of the Lindy's Stamp Gang Magicals powders in a drawer when I was looking for something else, and I'm like, oh, I should use those. So I decided to use them over this black paper to see what it would do. It's a water-soluble pigment with mica in it. One of the tubes that I have is the flats, which doesn't have any sparkly mica, and then the other 2 tubes have the mica in the powder. And you can apply it in different ways. One of the ways that I've seen a lot of people do is to sprinkle it on like you would like a brusho or color burst powders, one of those, and then spray it, and it makes pretty backgrounds. But in this case, I'm just taking a paintbrush that's a little bit damp, dipping it just slightly in and bringing the powder out, putting it on my craft mat, and then adding a little bit more water to it to make a watercolor paint, basically a fluid paint. And I didn't know if this would work on black paper. I was curious to see what would happen, and you can actually see the different colors that I used. I used, you know, a rust color, I used an orange, I used a kind of a greenish gold, I used teal, red, like a red color, and they do actually show up on the paper once they're dry. And they are a little bit sparkly too. Had a little bit of a weird mouth there, so I fixed it by just wiping it off with a wet baby wipe and then reapplying the paint pen. And I do have to reapply some more of the powder. But yeah, it was pretty quick. It was, again, working on a profile, a complete side profile. I still have trouble with the chin jutting out too far. It's really, I'm struggling with it. I cannot get it right. I don't know why, but it's not as bad as some of my drawings. So yeah, that's pretty fun. And that was my little demonic person, girl. She's a warrior. She has some leather armor and a sword. So then the next day, which is day, that was day 28, I think. It's hard when you're going back and voicing over ones that you've already put onto a video. 29 was, oh, what was it? Oh yeah, rock star or idol, which, and I didn't really have a specific one in mind. at all. Like, I don't idolize, I mean, I like music and I like to go to concerts with, other people, and I listen to music all the time, but I don't have like this person in my mind that I think, oh, wow, that is my idol. That person is so awesome. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I like a lot of different types of music, a lot of different types of people. I like different actors and actresses. But yeah, I couldn't really think of one that I wanted specifically for it to be. So I just decided to make a singer. And of course, the singer would be wearing a costume. And I played around with kind of a lace bodysuit type of a situation, and then lots of flowing pieces coming off of it, and scarves on the microphone and scarves everywhere, and lacy flowing sheer stuff is what I was trying to go for. But first I'm working on the body position. This is really what I'm trying to work on. I erase a lot. This picture took a long time to draw because I kept erasing and repositioning. It is really a lot trickier than you would think. Getting proportions correct, getting some type of movement in the person's posture or attitude, giving the illusion of some type of an attitude, rather than making the arms straight, the legs straight, everything straight, facing forward. I'm trying to work on getting better at that. And I think I'm getting better, but I'm not great. Definitely have a long way to go. So I guess maybe I'll do Inktober again next year and do something that has figures so that I can work some more on drawing bodies in attitude and positions. But I wanted her to be holding the microphone up like, oh, look at me, I'm singing, I'm a rock star, and then kind of dancing or, giving the illusion that she's moving. That's the only way I can think to say it. I don't really know what I'm saying, actually. So something that you will notice on this drawing, and if you've watched all of them, I mean, we're getting to the end of the month now, so I think there's only one left after this. You will notice that the other thing that I've been talking about is about doing different pen nib sizes, different line weight. It makes a real difference in your illustration. I did all the pen work on this one with an extra small nib. I did not vary at all. It's very small, thin black lines, and it gives a complete different look than if I had used fatter nibs or different ones, like, added a thicker line around the edge and then filled in with thinner lines. You've seen me do this through the month if you've been watching. I guess if you haven't been watching, you don't know what I'm talking about. But, this is the 29th drawing and the 29th inking. So I hope that you can see the difference. This really does make a difference when you look at this one in comparison to others. The lines are hardly there. They're very fine. And I did that intentionally. I wanted flowiness and thin transparency. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not making any sense at this point, but I know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know how to say it. So then I still had the magicals on my desk from the day before, and I decided, well, I've used the magicals on the dark paper. Let's see what they look like on the white paper. So I mostly used the flat ones. I cannot remember the name of the set. They come in sets of 5 colors, and this one had a light purple, a light blue, a light pink, a light orangey peachy color. So I started out with those, and then I did use a few colors from one of the other sets. That brighter blue and then the copper that I use on her hair are from the other set, and I think a pink, a reddish pinkish color. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that those light colors are the ones that were flat. They didn't have any sparkle. So only the brighter blue and the brighter pink color actually has any sparkle in it. But you can still see a lot of sparkle on the page when you tilt it back and forth. So something fun and different to add the idea of her having bright lights shining on her. I used all the different colors on the palette and sprinkled them on, added a little bit of a pink highlight around her. But yeah, that's about it. I had a lot of fun with it. It was different, and all done with the Lindy Stamp Gang Magicals. I did add a few highlights with the white Posca pen, of course. I mean, you were expecting that, right? So that's it for day 29, Rockstar. So for day 30, I was excited and yet nervous. The prompt was Witchsona, which is your persona as a witch. And this was started by someone, and it's like the first full moon of the year, everyone makes their Witchsona. I don't know, it's a thing. Didn't know about it until I researched it for this prompt. But I mean, it's kind of like a self-portrait, right? I don't like self-portraits. I don't even like pictures. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't really want to think about myself in depth. I don't enjoy that. I know some people are very interested in their self and their self-image and their self-worth and all that. I try to avoid all that. I'm more focused outward than inward, and so I had to think for a while. If I was a witch, what kind of witch would I be? And I decided that because I enjoy nature and animals and trees in particular, that I would be some sort of a woodland witch that would be out in the woods with, you know, the trees and enjoying nature, and then also still being like an artist. So working on drawing figures in different poses, and I wanted this one to be sitting down leaning against a tree. Took me forever to get the positioning of the body right, and I'm still not sure it's 100% right. I think that perhaps the hip is too tilted, but I wanted to do a 3/4 portrait, not a forward-facing portrait, but I didn't want to do a profile. You know, I don't like those, and so I was trying to do 3/4 turn portrait, so the body needed to be turned 3/4 of the way toward the viewer, and that's the reason that I had such a hard time. Also, I'm not a skinny person, and so I didn't want a skinny figure with, you know, athletic build. I wanted it to be more, to look more like a full-figured person, but not in the exaggerated style of like a pinup or something with a skinny waist and a big butt and big boobs. Not that type of a look, but a more normal, average-looking person. So anyway, what I'm saying is I tried to draw a realistic body. Then the magic, of course, is bringing out all the animals to speak and surround her. That's the magic, the woodland magic. So I made the wand a brush, and then I made all kinds of little animals come out from the trees. There's a bluebird of happiness, and there's an owl peeking out. You haven't gotten to the owl yet. A little fox. Foxes are so cute. And a little raccoon peeking out from behind. You know, giving the idea that this witch has woodland magic, basically. So that's what I was going for. It was a extensive drawing process, so sorry it's taking so long. The inking, I didn't do anything real super crazy. I used a larger nib and then went to a smaller nib to do the details. And, you know, nothing super fancy. Just wanted to get it done, get it over with, get it inked. that's one thing. It's like when you're really focused on inking, then you go carefully, and when you're more focused on getting the drawing done, you don't do as much fussing about the inking. So this is where I drew in the owl. I didn't have the owl at first, and then I thought, oh, this tree needs something, so I threw a little owl in there, poking out of the hole. I guess it would be the kind that lives in the hollow tree. Then for the coloring, I just wanted to do my favorite kind of coloring, which is to use my Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons. These are my favorite, and since it's kind of a self-portrait or an imaginary self-portrait, I just wanted to use them. So I'm using my water barrel brush and either alternating between, like if it's a large area like the tree or something, I'm putting the color right onto the page using the crayon directly to the paper and then blending it afterwards. Or if it's a smaller area where I don't think I can get the crayon in there accurately, I'm writing the crayon onto my craft sheet and then picking it up with the wet brush. And that's a type of brush that has a synthetic bristle and water inside the barrel, so I don't have to keep dipping it into water. It's not that I necessarily prefer it, it's just easier because it has the water inside the barrel, which is nice. So I think the story behind this probably is more wishful thinking than actuality. Like, you guys know I live in the desert, right? So the only time I could really visit trees is if I go up to northern Arizona, and those trees are more like coniferous trees, evergreen type trees. So this environment doesn't actually exist in my reality at this point. I have lived in areas like this before, but I don't now, and I haven't for the last, I don't know, 15 years maybe. I've been living in the desert, and this is no reflection on my love or lack of love for the desert, because I love where I live. I love the nature that surrounds me. It's very different from this picture though. So I guess it was more about, if I was a witch, what kind of witch would I be, rather than reflecting on reality. And I just continue to color. There's not much more I can say about that, coloring. I love coloring with these. Oh, I did put purple hair because I do actually have partially purple hair. I don't have completely purple hair because I didn't want to bleach my entire head in order to put the color on it and make it stand out. I have streaks of purple in my hair, but if it wasn't for the damage that it would take, or if my hair would just grow naturally, or if I could do a spell and make my hair go out purple, I would do that 100%. But that's just not real, is it? It's just not real. I don't know. But definitely, if I was a witch, I would have purple hair. And the clothes that I dressed her in are very similar to what I wear every day. V-neck t-shirt, jeans that are shorts generally. Sometimes I wear 3/4 length jeans, but yeah, that's what I wear all the time. So, and sandals, flip-flops. So it's not cold here. That's how come I wear those clothes. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will give it a thumbs up and comment. Please comment so that I know you're here. And that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.